Hey guys, thanks for checking this out. I appreciate it. Um, Gonna throw a big shout out to my moderators, Dagan and Waltimus. What's up? And this is the inaugural version or the inaugural episode of Show of Resilience, a show where we're gonna be talking about all forms of recovery. Granted, the biggies for me are mental health, substance abuse, trauma, and sexual trauma. So I don't know how many of you guys have heard my story. So in case somebody finds this, never heard of me, I will link who is Sober Chef Eric down below later. I forgot to do it already, but just a really brief history. Um, when I was 10, I got molested by a friend of the family, their son. He was 18. And it happened on a few occasions. And he was like, "Yeah, this is a game." And I was like, "Okay, I like games. And fucker. But, you know, so that's when the self loathing and self hate and guilt and shame and all that started coming in. And then started self medicating. And, as time goes on, had a few other traumas, not sexual traumas, just physical traumas, having guns stuck in my face, things like that on a couple occasions. So, PTSD, major depressive disorder, anxiety, I've got a bucket list of them. But it all kind of came to a head July 2nd, 2011. And basically, it was like, okay, am I going to kill myself? Good idea. Well, maybe I'll call Suicide Hotline, see what they have to say. And after being on hold for 20 minutes, finally got to speak with a young lady, and she gave me a list of hospitals that took my insurance. And so I went to the first one that I recognized, which was at the time it was called Denver General, but now it's called Denver Health. It's the free hospital. You get in trouble if cops have somebody that's psyching out, then they take them there. And so 8-day stay helped out a lot, but continued to drink. I didn't smoke any weed, but continued to drink because that was kind of my go-to. And my psychiatrist in September was like, "Dude, if you keep drinking and playing ping pong with your brain chemistry, how in the heck am I going to help you?" So he's like, "Your choice. You want to keep me as a psychiatrist? Quit drinking." And that was just kind of the kick in the butt I needed. I'm going to say hi to a few people real quick. Brian Hershey just came in, my Colorado dude, my two moderators, Waltimus and Dagan. We got E Rock, another Eric in the house. And that's all I see in the chat so far. But if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. And if this is the first time to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be doing this show of resilience every other week at 8 p.m. EST, except for if I have a guest that has a real time crunch, we might go in a half hour early. But my guest over here, this is Chris from that channel to be named later. And down in the description, I've got his IG and his YouTube linked. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel, Chris.
Not a problem. Well, for starters, I want to say, dude, I'm so honored to be your first guest. You've been like a brother to me ever since I've met you. And when you went, "Hey, I need some help," I'm like, "Got you," you know? And, for a first, let's see if I don't screw the pooch too much tonight, but let's get into this. All right. Well, as he said, I am Chris. I do own and operate. It's the company to be named later, but everyone calls it the channel. I don't care. It fits. I started off everything doing like I want to do paracord work and show shows and show the craft fairs and show the joy. But I ran into some issues with that and some people going, "Oh, YouTubers make a lot of money. Great. How much am I going to get paid?" So I put all those plans on hold. And one day I just went, All right. I picked up a book and started talking to my iPad. And that's how everything with my channel started to flow. Uh, most of my stuff you guys have seen publicly, especially my last little, I don't want to say meltdown, but emotional issue that I had. And I felt it really, really important to show those things because I've talked about this with Eric behind the scenes, and I talk about it on my channel. There is such a stigma surrounding men and mental health issues that you just need to man up and shut the F up. Deal with it like a real man. You're not a biatch, you know? And there's times where we've just got to be able to break down and you build yourself up. Now, I have other issues that I've gotten under control. Like I used to drink heavily on a daily basis because I didn't feel I was worthy enough of the stuff that I was getting. You know, I had a great job. And every day I went to work, I went, well, today's the day I'm going to get fired. You know, I was making a good paycheck after taxes. I could pay all my bills for the month after a week and a half because we got paid weekly working for Kroger. I was in their call center. And seriously, every day I'd walk in and go, today's the day I'm going to get fired. Oh, well, I didn't get fired. Let me go home and celebrate with a fifth of Jack or a fifth of Crown or a fifth of whatever. I lost, wow, like total control of myself. And I had to get help and I had to build myself back up. You know, God, I don't know. I don't know how to put it other than every day is like a work in progress. And if you make it through that day without screwing the pooch, that's a good thing. You know, there's every day you're going to screw something up. I mean, just law of averages, 1 out of 10 times you're going to fail.
I'd be lucky if it was 1 out of 10.
Amber, sorry, hold on, kid thing. I got to mute myself.
Okay. Yeah, and sometimes I just got to make it through this minute, this 5 minutes, this 10 minutes. Like with me, I know my mood disorders. I know when I'm having issues with anxiety or whatever. Even though I know it up here, I don't know it in here. And so, sometimes you got to tell yourself, just make it 10 minutes. Just make it 5 minutes, make it 1 minute. And that's how I get through some of my anxiety attacks. And I'll throw out some other nifty little tools from my toolbox that I've learned. Will they work for you? I don't know. But maybe it's a tool you don't have, and maybe it's a tool that you use all the time. Maybe it's a tool that it looks good in the toolbox. I'll leave it there.
The biggest one you said that I use a lot is when I know I'm going in one of those little downward spirals and I could feel it. It's that 10-minute thing. Just make it through 10 minutes. Did you make it through that 10 minutes? Okay, you're good. Let's keep going forward. And then it's like, well, okay, I'm still feeling these doubts. All right, well, take a moment, reassess yourself. Let's figure out where this is going. What happened to me? What's causing this? Why am I feeling this way? What can I do to fix it? Because I've had to learn this the hard way. Sometimes you can't fix your screw ups and you have to take the ass whooping that comes afterwards. And that determines who you are. You either take your ass whooping and move forward, or you keep regressing and regressing and regressing. And I know that sounds like, oh, look at me, I'm a big old much. No, man. It's something that's taken me almost 50 years of my life.
Youngin'.
Get that part down. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I know. Especially, like you mentioned, for guys from our generation, that grew up during the 70s.
Yeah.
Men were allowed to have 3 emotions, basically: anger, joy, and anger.
Go fourth. Put horny in there because
Oh,
guys,
yeah, I guess
that's where you have to go. So
yeah, but also as a guy, that's just kind of 100% thing,
yeah, but still,
but yeah, and it was you're hurt, rub some dirt on it, get up, walk it off.
yeah.
Um, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, move on, drive on, drive on with a heart on.
Pretty much.
I was gonna
Exactly.
wear it. I was gonna wear it, but there's too much green in my drill sergeant badge and the Army logo.
See, one of the jokes I've always made, because I joined the Army when I was 17, we were the fittest, most dysfunctional alcoholics on the planet. You know?
Oh yeah, a huge, huge part of the culture in the Army. I can't speak for any of the other branches except for maybe the Air Force, because I did spend a lot of time when I did my reserve weekends. I would stay at the hotel on the Air Force base in the town. It was $2 a night,
Right.
and they had an NCO club. So I think it was 75-cent drafts back then. You know, which never hurt the paycheck too much. But yeah, especially in the Army. And I was infantry, and you were, what were you? I forget.
Signal.
Yeah.
I never
So
really did my job, though, like what I was trained to do. But still, I was trained as way back when in the 80s when computers weren't a household item. It was called a computer machine operator. That's the military for you. Give you a really big long term for something that means about that much.
yeah, yeah, but there was no mental health days. There was no, oh, I'm under the weather. I've got a migraine, whatever. Sergeants don't care. First sergeants don't care. Your top's going to be like, so what's
Yeah,
going on, Jason? Thanks for coming in.
and I will never forget that look after I got out. And it's like you have those aches, you have those pains, you pop like 12 ibuprofens and chase it with an energy drink, and people are like, dude, like, I'm just getting warmed up.
What we did, because energy drinks didn't exist when I was in, we would take the freeze dried coffee from the MREs, rip them open,
Yeah.
and talk about that would get you going. But so I know that the care for veterans is getting better, but I know it's still lacking, just because so many of these service people, you know, are getting told, no, you don't, mental health, and, you got the women in the military that are like, well, I'm just tough as the guys. And the guys are like, well, I'm a man. So, hey, Mick.
Yardstick.
Oh, and just so you guys know, at the top of the comments, I pinned the Beach Bums YouTube channel for the fundraiser tomorrow night. And that's going to be for Sean from A Bit Beard Co. because unfortunately his 3-year-old son passed. So we're going to come together as a community and see what we can do to help this family out. And I know personally, I donated 2 Sober Chef Eric combos, which is going to be an 8 ounce of hot sauce and 3.5 ounces of Wagyu beef Thai curry style. Yeah, this guy over here's had. Have you had my hot sauce? I don't
Yes,
remember.
that was one of the first items I got from you.
Okay, yeah, he's had that, and he's had a couple versions of the bison, and he's had the elk jerky as well. And mix in here, he's had the hot sauce. Dagan has had the elk jerky, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, and I will say this about Sean, guys. When I had my latest little mental breakdown and I put some videos out, Sean and I had never talked. And one day I get this message from him on Instagram, and he just says, hey, I don't know how your video showed up. What can I do to help? I have never talked to the man before, ever before that message. And that right there tells you what kind of man he is. He just saw it and went, what can I do to help? So anybody watching this, turn out tomorrow. I mean, you don't need to bid high. You don't need to bid anything. Be in there, support it, give encouraging words.
Yeah.
You know, you you will never know what words can get you through a day or
Yeah.
get you over a problem. You will just, you'll never know. Like, we're talking mental health. Andy, the beard practitioner, now the rocking beard practitioner, he and I talked via Instagram, and he's like, all right, let's get to the root of this. And I told him that my huge bit of my mental breakdown was I felt like I was a parent who had abandoned a child. And Andy went, well, do you know she's yours? No. Were you ever told? No. Did you actively choose to run away? No. And if you know Andy, these next words are going to shock you. He went, then shut the fuck up, move forward. You've got nothing to worry about. Andy never swears. Never.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of jumping on the back of one thing that Chris said, you never know what thing you might do or say that will completely change the course of somebody's life. That's why, when I'm picking up trash in the parking lot and I see somebody getting out of their car or getting into their car after shopping, hey, have a great day, because I've heard too many stories from people I know that were having suicidal ideations, and somebody held the door for them. And they're like, well, maybe there are still some good people in this world, you know?
Yep.
So you never know. And I like to say, you never know who needs to hear what you have to say at that time. So some people call it random acts of kindness. I call it just being a good person. And in recovery, I've learned to just focus on me and be the best me I can be at that moment. Whether it be I'm struggling or whether I'm having a great day, whatever it may be, I just try to be the best version of myself. And I'm not trying to be grandiose or anything like that. Just, it's what I have to do to help myself.
And that is so huge, because for me, for so long, I was so self-destructive because I didn't feel I deserved what I had. Okay, I've got this great flat screen TV. Well, there's one out there that's better. I guess I should have worked a little of this. Oh, I just completed a game. Oh, but I didn't 100% it and get all the trophies on the video game. You go to a bar, you come home with this really, really hot chick, and it's like, well, she's going to leave in the morning. You've got to be able to focus on you and be truthful with yourself. Which is, this may sound so stupid to anybody watching this, and I don't care. It works for me. Every morning when I get up and I look in the mirror, I literally look at myself and go, hey, jackass, knock it the fuck off. You're fine.
Yeah. And one thing that helps me a lot, that I had heard of but didn't understand it at the time, but in recovery, I've learned about mindfulness, and that's just being present in the moment, not thinking about the past, not fretting and worrying about the future. I'm not, it's okay to plan and have goals for the future, but not having anxiety over, not stressing over, well, if I screw this up tomorrow, then this is going to happen and this is going to happen. No, you can prepare for tomorrow. You can make goals. You can set goals, which I highly recommend. And early in my recovery, my daily goals I did on a dry erase board that was hanging in my bedroom. And it had get out of bed, make bed, take shower, take meds. And once I could cross those off on a regular basis, then I started adding another one. And then I started adding weekly goals, and then started adding monthly goals. And it's a slow process, but for me, that was a tool that helped me a lot. And for mindfulness, I do what they call four square breathing, which is where you inhale for a count of four, you hold it for a count of four, then you exhale for a count of four. And physiologically, it helps center you, and it will physiologically slow down your pulse and slow down your heartbeat, or pulse heartbeat, same thing. Yep, brain injuries. Um, but it will actually have a positive effect on you. And it's something that you can do in public. It's helped me with my anxiety in public, because nobody's like, oh, look how weird that guy's breathing. It doesn't happen, and sometimes just that one little thing of mindfulness helps me center and helps me move on, you know.
See,
So,
you do the breathing count. I've got like a little worry stone, and I don't know if you can see right there in the middle that little indent.
divot.
That's Conmara marble. It's really freaking old, coming out of Ireland. And yes, I rubbed it so much right in the middle, just getting, okay, calm down, Chris. You're fine. You'll get through this. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. Well, we're going to make it forward. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you can see that divot right in the middle.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I have a pebble that I use for that I got when I moved out of the group home I was in. It was a transitional living facility for adults with severe and persistent mood disorders. We had 18 community members, and the way you became a community member is first you did a preliminary interview with one of the staff, which was one of the clinical staff. And if they say, okay, he might be a good fit, he might not, you come to a dinner where at least half the house is there, and they ask you a series of predetermined questions, and they go around, everybody asks you, I think it was 20 predetermined questions, and then some follow-ups and everything. So that way, there wasn't any bias or anything like that. And then after the dinner and after everything, you leave, and then they take a vote. And if you get voted in, you get voted in. And once the wait list, you get your appropriate place on the wait list. And once you move in, you're there. Most people average 18 months to 2.5 years. I did 2.5 years. But it helped me learn a lot about myself, about my mood disorders, about other mood disorders, and seeing those common links, those things that kind of flow. It doesn't matter whether it be bipolar or paranoid schizophrenic, you know, you have the guilt and the self-hatred, and those things kind of are all over the place when it comes to mood disorders.
But isn't it amazing, and I hate to use that phrase, when you're in a self-destructive thing, how easy bad patterns are to develop? Oh my God, I had a bad day at work. I got to go to the bar. Oh my God, I had a great day at work. I need an 8 ball. Oh crap, I got a promotion. I need the bar. I need an 8 ball. And now I need hookers.
Yeah,
It just, those bad patterns build and they build and they build and they build and they build. But when you get to that point where you're like, no more, how you seem so overwhelmed having to unlearn all those bad choices and make much better choices for yourself.
yeah,
Just a little simple thing like when I lived in Portland, I was working graveyards for a while. And there was a strip club literally 2 blocks from my house. Literally 2 blocks.
nothing wrong with that.
When you're in a self-destructive pattern, it is, because that's where Chris used to hang out an awful lot. And my roommate at the point went, I bet you can't go a month without being in there. And I'm like, a month? Psst, I can do that. And a month turned into 2. 2 turned into 4. 4 turned into 8. So it's just weird, back to that, having somebody say something and having to unlearn that stuff. That whole, I'm having a bad day, give me that bottle, or give me this, give me that. But nope, it's like, all right, well, center myself, do your yoga, do your breathing, do your meditation, read the Bible if you have to. Read, oh my God, the Alcoholics Anonymous book. I can't remember the exact name for it.
Big buck.
Thank you. Reading that, or if you got NA, or if you have whatever, it's just talking to people and getting out of that self-destructive pattern. It's just weird how The spiral down is so simple, but climbing back up seems so difficult. And it's actually, to me, a lot easier than the spiral down.
Yeah, once you realize, and I'm not, Chris can tell you this, Mick can tell you this, I'm not judgmental when it comes to other people. I don't care if you drink, I don't care if you do heroin. If you're not hurting your family members and you're not hurting the people that love you, knock yourself out, man. You know, but as soon as you start, and I'm still not going to judge you for hurting your family or anything like that. You know, I'm just going to give you acceptance. Will I agree with you? No. But if you ask, I'm going to tell you my opinion.
Yes.
And, you know, Chris and I have had many
Yes.
discussions on the phone, and I'm not just going to blow smoke, but, you know, I'm also going to tell you, I'm going to speak my truth, you know, and, you know, for anybody out there that's struggling with anything, I don't care what it is. I've struggled with all kinds of things. Reach out, you know, and if we make a good connection, I'll send you my phone number like I've done with a couple other people. And, you know, if you're struggling, give me a call. I don't care if it's 3 in the morning my time. I'll wake up, and if the phone wakes me up, that is.
Yes. Yes.
And, you know, it's never a worry. I'd much rather, you know, the classic quote, I'd much rather listen to your problems than listen to your eulogy, you know. And I've lost over 20 friends between suicide and overdoses and everything else. So, you know, I've been to my fair share, and a lot of them were people in their early 20s, you know. And it's like so much more that they could have done, you know. And the main thing is just talk.
Because they see that box. And I was stuck in that box for so long of self-loathing and self-hate, you know, and I don't know if I've ever said it publicly before, but I'm going to say it now. It's like with my current family that I have. There's days I'm scared shitless. I'm going to lose them when I wake up in the morning, you know? It's everything I've ever wanted my whole life. I've got. The lady I'm with has been the longest I've ever dated anybody. My firstborn child came from her. You know, I'm a step parent to two wonderful little children. You know, some days I want to throw them out a window. You know, and guys, if you want to go run tell tattle to CPS, that's a joke. All right. But it's just amazing once you can break out of that box and see so much more of your life. You know, when my family and I moved up here, and I've told this story before because I'm in Skagit County, Washington. We had to have a lot of help when we moved up here. We were living with my better half's parents for a while, and we had to get out of the house because her dad had to have his time. So everyone had to vacate the house. We're in a mall, and my son's asking me for a 25-cent gumball, and we couldn't afford that. I vowed right there on that day that would never happen again. It took us a long time to get as financially secure as we are right now, but we're pretty much debt free. You know, it's moving ourselves forward. And that's why I hate that some people took it to this level. The last couple charity auctions, I know what it feels like to be on that other side. We had extra. I gave big because that's what we do in this family. If we have extra, we help. But I hate that people reach out going, oh, he's trying to be big time, or oh, look at him throwing money around like it's nothing. No. I sat down with my better half. I had a set limit, and we did it because that helped. We were able to extend that help and that support and that love that so many people have shown my family. And that's why I'm going to circle back with this one. Sunday, guys, show up for Sean. Seriously. You never know. $20 could win you an item. You know, you never know what you may get, but all of it's going to go help Sean in his time of need.
Well, and another great thing about Sean, I mean, I'd been in the community for a while when I did my fundraiser for the Phoenix, which is a
I remember that.
nonprofit. It's an active sober community. And, you know, they've done so much for my sobriety. And just, you know, there was times where I was feeling suicidal, and I went in and talked to a staff member, and they're like, man, I wish you could see in yourself what we see in you, you know. And They were able to literally talk me down off the ledge. And I didn't have a relationship with Sean. It was Epic Beards at the time, if I remember. Wasn't that the previous name of his company?
I think so. I know he did a rebrand to get the 8-Bit Beard Co., but I really, Epic sounds about right.
Yeah. But, I reached out to him and he's like, yeah, you bet. Anything I can do, and donated some stuff and helped me raise some money. And, it was funny that night. As soon as the thing was over, I get a message from one of my really good friends, Kaylee. And she was like, hey, so and so from Phoenix wants to talk to you. Do you mind if I give him your number? I'm like, no, go ahead. And it was the guy that was in charge of finance for the Phoenix. And we're all over the country now. We've got chapters in over 20 states, and, we've helped over 40,000 people, and anytime a donation gets made, he gets a notification on his phone. And he's like, are you the guy that was making my phone blow up tonight? And I'm like, yes, that was me.
Hey, sweetheart.
And so, and he was like, and where did you do this fundraiser? I'm like, online and in the beard community. And he's like, the what community? Like the beard community. Hey, what's up, cousins?
Kyle and Joe, what's up, boys?
And it looks like it is Kyle.
Credit to the other one too.
Yeah. But yeah, Kaylee helped me find some people to match what we raised, and we were able to raise a good little chunk, to help out a nonprofit. And this isn't a nonprofit that we're helping tomorrow night. This is a family in our community, and granted, I want this show to move beyond the bearded community, but
it will. You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, it's given me the platform, which is the whole reason I started my YouTube channel, was to have a platform to talk about recovery and help people in recovery. And that's, after a year, I decided, okay, well, reviews, I'm not helping anybody with reviews, I mean.
So you had to make that switch, and that's cool. Yeah. But before we get too far off this, I want to circle back to what you just said. I love how you said, I wish you could see in you what we see in you. Because I never understood that phrase from former sergeants of mine, my family, anybody else. They used to love doing this. Well, I see who you are, I see who you were, and who you could be. And it's just like, huh? What? Huh? And it's so weird how everybody else around us sees us really differently than we see ourselves. And, it's those people that maybe sometimes you just got to walk up to someone and go, dude, knock it off. You're fine. It just, I hated that phrase, but I also love it because it's so truthful.
Yeah.
My son, when I first met him, he had anger issues. He had ADHD. He had some hearing issues, and he was violent. Till he met me. He found someone who isn't going to move, and I'm like, let's go,
Yeah, I can take a punch too.
Now everyone's like, we're so happy you came into his life. He's so different. He's so much better. Everybody's like, oh, we love him. He's great. He's wonderful. I'm like, stop lying to me. I live with him,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's one reason I volunteered for the Phoenix, and I would teach climbing intros. So people would come, they'd never been rock climbing before. I would teach them how to put on their gear, what the gear did, how to use it, and then how to climb. And one reason I did that was people made me feel welcome when I showed up. I wanted everybody that showed up at the Phoenix to get this amazing experience that I've had. And first step is, greet them when they come in the door. And I'm going to be the first person they really deal with. No rocks to climb in Florida. You can still go to rock gyms.
You got gators. It's all fair. I've been to the Everglades there, Waltimus.
I've never been. The closest I made it to Georgia or to Florida was Fort Benning.
Yeah, see, when I was doing a run on MacDill Air Force Base, so you're sitting there, you're running, and it's like, oh wow, look, there's a log in the road. You get a little closer, that log's got feet. Then you're like, oh, fuck, it's a crocodile. Nope, I'm going back this way.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing this show every other week, and I'm going to try to keep it under an hour because we're going to hit on some heavy subjects and everything, and we're going to hit on some light subjects too. But I appreciate all you guys coming out, and I'm not closing the show down. I just want to show some
Right.
gratitude, and that's another thing that's helped me in my recovery. One trick that I use early in recovery is one thing I'm grateful for when I wake up, because you wake up and first thing you do is gratitude that you're grateful for something. It just starts that day off on a positive foot. And then it was two things, and then it was three things, and four things. And then, I'd been in recovery for a couple of years. And then it's like, okay, today I'm going to start with A. What's something that begins with A that I'm grateful for? You know, and another day above ground. I had an instructor in Drill Sergeant Academy, and he always said, a day above ground is a good day.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people think that means that. Well, he was a tunnel rat in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
So takes on a whole nother meaning
Yes, it
that
does.
any day above ground is a good day. Uh,
Woo.
and yeah, it was funny. We ended up hitting it off pretty good because, oh, love that. Love that. That's awesome. Um, his last name was like mine, very unique, hard to spell, hard to pronounce. And we both had, you know, so our mail got mixed up constantly in the barracks. And
Eric, I
so
have no clue what you're talking about. None whatsoever. None.
I know how to spell your name, no clue how to pronounce it. No, that's why I just say Chris F. As I know what I'm talking about.
I have no clue what
Hey,
you're talking about, brother.
what's going on, Kyle? Another dude in Colorado. This guy's he just started a channel a while back. He's doing some live streams and stuff. You guys might know him as Irish Whisker Kyle.
Yeah.
Great dude. He's in Bearded Rebellion. Um, and when I get the Colorado meetup nailed down, he's going to be one of the guys that's going to be there.
Nice. And I mean, one of the things I do teach my kids, this little saying, it was an actor, I think, who said it from a while ago. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not even here. All I've got's today. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah. Yep. Colorado Springs, Anthony. And if you don't follow Anthony on IG, he's got some amazing positive stuff. Great. Some really nice inspirational stuff. And it's really good to see in social media somebody just throwing out positive, 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 you know.
Well, if it's true positive, because I've seen this way too many times where people are like, okay, well, every day I'm going to say something great, but they don't follow it. They don't believe in it, you know? And I hate that fake positivity. It's be truthful in what you're doing. And if you're motivational, I love you. You're going to get full support. But if you're like, oh, well, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with myself, I try to throw some posts up that, have a different way of looking at something. And normally it's around mood disorders, mental health.
Well, yeah.
Um, but then also I try to throw some stupid stuff up there, like I did the other day with Kirk and Spock hanging out, and Kirk's like, "Hey, you want to hear my Batman impersonation?" And Spock's like, "Sure." He's like, "Up, up, and away." Spock's like, "That's Superman." And Captain Kirk's like, "Thanks, I've been working on that a lot." You know.
See, I'm trying to do that as well with my Instagram, where one day maybe, all right, get off your ass and do something, and the next day it's something comical like the fitness protection program. You got to have a little fun, because if you take yourself way too seriously every single day, you're
Yeah.
going to hit that snag, and there goes that downward spiral.
Yep. Yeah. And, like Anthony said, an attitude of gratitude goes a long, long way. Yeah. And, I don't care who you are, what your situation is, there's something to be grateful. There's always somebody that's in a worse situation than you,
Oh God, yeah,
you
yes,
know. And, like myself, yeah, I'm short, fat, bald, but I'm short, fat, and bald, but I can walk. I'm short, fat, and bald, but I have use of all my limbs. I have running water. I have electricity. I don't have food insecurity. There's a lot of people just in Colorado Springs that can't say that. There's a lot of people in America, in the world, that, having those things, they would feel like champions.
well, and that's something else I try to teach my kids, because unfortunately, where are we at? My posse. Heck yeah, brother. And you see, Anthony, that's why it means so much more when people who are living it can actually talk about it and do it. What's up, Joe? Yes, I know family's a pain in the ass. You're my brother. Trust me, I know about pains in the asses, Joe. But still, the
Yeah.
other thing I'm trying to teach my kids is, do you have food in your belly? Are the lights on? Is there a roof over your head? It's a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those that saw my IG posts and stuff earlier, um, Joe was going to be my guest, but he had some family stuff come up, and, found out he had a birthday party. So we'll have him on another time. Chris was already planning on being a guest. We had a day scheduled, and we just happened to be talking about some other stuff earlier today. And
Corey.
yep. Hey Corey, what's up? How's Tim and the family doing? Um and I'm not good at this, so while it's on the tip of my tongue, I'm going to say it now. If you haven't subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it. And if this is somewhat entertaining, even though, like watching a train wreck, hit the thumbs up, man.
Guys,
I greatly appreciate that.
I will say it like this for everybody in the chat, everybody who's going to watch this later. This is one of my favorite stories about Eric. All right. And this should make you subscribe. It's no huge secret. Eric used to be part of like this brew consortium. He brewed beer with some of the best beer makers in the world. So a little while ago, I was talking about brewing mead with Eric, and he was giving me some great ideas and great tips and great everything. Then he made the comment, he goes, when's my bottle coming? I'm like, as soon as I drink it, I'll send you the empty one and you can sniff it. And he started laughing. And I'm like, see, that's why he's a brother right there.
Yeah, and it was one of our many conversations that we've had about, different things. Because, like I say, just because drinking doesn't work for me doesn't mean it's not, bad thing for anybody else.
Yeah, but
And
like,
I've
when,
got what? Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, when I had that breakdown in part of our conversations, you let me vent for about 45 minutes and you said two words. Right when I was done, you said two words. What's next? That's what kind of man he is. He didn't judge. He didn't do anything. He gave direction, which is also important. Like when he's talking about recovery and he's talking about rehab and he's talking about building your life back up, direction is so important, because you can make all the plans in the world without any kind of direction or motivation. You're just planning to fail. Hey, Martin.
What's up, Martin? Thanks for coming in. But yeah, one thing, especially when it comes to recovery from substance abuse or alcoholism or mood disorders, who you surround yourself is going to make the difference.
God, yeah.
When I was recovering from mood disorders and getting sober and everything else, I was lucky enough, I found the Phoenix, talk about, and I was like, okay, it's going to be a bunch of 20 somethings they're in amazing shape, and they're able to look at me like, who's that old fat bald guy, And I walked in, and it was just like, we love you. Thanks for showing up, And it was because of them that I started feeling worthy of being loved by people that weren't related to me.
But see,
And that was a huge milestone for me.
and that's also a great point, is because when you're in your self-destructive pattern, your vibe attracts your tribe. So when you're destroying yourself, you're going to get like-minded idiots who want to party with you and help you destroy yourself. But when you go, I don't want any of this anymore. No, they're going to be like, why? What's up? Are you too good for us now? Why? What's going on? What's going on? Trying to pull you right back down. But when you apply yourself and you do more and better things, it's amazing what can happen to you.
Yeah. And, so if you're having issues with a lot of self negativity, uh, bad self talk, surround yourself with people that will lift you up, you know. And I'm not saying be there, be selfish, be there for them as well, but be around people that help build you up instead of people that want to tear you down. And it's going to happen if like when I got sober, I had to quit my band because our band started because we used to get off work from Whole Foods. We'd sit around smoking weed and drinking beer, listening to music. And then, well, I play guitar. Hey, I play bass. I play drums. I sing. So why don't we, let's take all our stuff over and throw it in this garage. And then we smoke, drank, and played music. And then we started doing gigs and everything else. And it was just such a heavy part of our band that I knew I couldn't be around it. And one of the guys who I considered one of my best friends, but he was basically my most common drinking buddy. He's like, I was having, I talked to him when I was having a rough day mentally, when I was taking a cognitive behavioral therapy class and I was having a shitty day. So I called him and he's like, dude, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, man. What the fuck? And that was the last time I talked to him.
Yeah.
And, because he knew I was trying to get better and he liked me as a drinking buddy and, would invite me over to his Kentucky Derby party, which I knew all there was going to be was pinball and weed and alcohol, Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's oh my god, that's so hard, beers and shenanigans, because when they don't want that help, no matter how much you're there for them, they're just going to push away and push away and push away. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. When I had family members reaching out and going, dude, we think you're in the bar way too often. I'm like, well, I have no life. I have no friends. Screw you. If I want to go pay $10 for a $2 beer, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah. Well, and one thing, Kyle, you can let them know that you're there. You can let them know, you can call in and say, hey, I'm going to go get a coffee. Or, if they're a friend and some stuff that they like, say they like flowers. Hey, I'm going to go to the Botanical Gardens in Denver. You want to go?
Exactly. Give them another choice. Exactly.
Yeah, and it doesn't beat. I'm going to keep beating you over the head until you do something, you son of a bitch.
That's oh, look, Jay Cruz is here. Hey, Cruz, man, thanks for your affiliate code. I saved some money at Walmart today. Thank you.
What's up, Jay Cruz? I haven't got to bellow in a while, so.
Oh, you're all good, brother. And yeah, Martin, that's exactly, surround yourself with good people, and that's the hard thing. Like I said earlier, your vibe attracts your tribe, and you got to understand what you're putting out is what you're going to get back. If you're putting out garbage, you're going to get it right back.
Yep.
And it took me forever. And I mean, I'm serious. When my better half basically picked me off the trash heap and gave me a family, Chris had to grow up massively.
Well, I don't know when they're in another state how to go about it. I would maybe, if they're on social, keep an eye on their social, and if you're starting to see some signs of some big time negativity and self hate, um, reach out digitally. If you have their phone number, give them a call, give them a text, and and it can be in a roundabout way, but you know, how you doing?
Sarate.
Hey, Michael, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Um, sometimes just a message is howdy.
Yeah, and Anthony, I challenge everybody on my live feeds, and for the record, anybody watching this, they're going to be starting back up real soon. But I challenge everybody on the very end of it, make 3 phone calls that week. Make them to people you haven't talked to in a while. Just reach out and talk to somebody. Even if it's just simple, hey man, ain't talked to you in a while. What's going on? Because you never know what's going to happen and how somebody may open up. And if somebody's struggling, you will. It's so hard to tell you when somebody calls you and goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're like, "Let's talk." Because Michael, I got to start running to find Jenny.
But yeah, I mean, I know, um, I've once I got diagnosed and knew why I was trying to escape from who I was, because the only time I felt good about myself was when I was drinking and using, one night stands and all that. But once I figured out, my psychiatrist helped me realize, okay, it's a chemical thing. That's why you hate yourself. It's a chemical thing. It's the trauma you've been through. And I realized that, um, you know, that momentary respite while I was using gave me more guilt and more self hate the next day. I didn't get hungover. I was a pro. I was a very highly functioning alcoholic. Um,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because isn't it weird how much pride we take in those terms? Like when I was working at Kroger, I worked 4 days a week and I had 3 days off. So for 3 of those days, I was fucking drunk, and then I sobered up just enough to go to work. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm great. And you're so impressed. Like, yeah, dude, I just knocked back 24 beers and I'm right here ready to work. Let's go.
yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm hungover. Let's do this.
I
And
drank all night, went home and took a shower, and now I'm here.
yeah, but you're so proud of that. It's like, look at me, man. Look at this. And
Yeah.
it just goes back to that, like we've been talking, that self-destructive pattern, how much we love to hate ourselves. It's so easy to do it, and it's so hard to look in that mirror and go, Chris, you're awesome, man. Way to go. You got out of bed, you made your bed, and you took a shower, beard looking on point. Go get it, son.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
most times you look in that mirror and you're like, idiot,
And another thing I did, I got this from my sister-in-law. I got post-it notes, and I would leave myself post-it notes
Oh,
because,
yes.
for those that don't know, haven't heard my story in depth, my sister-in-law came and visited me every day at the psych hospital because my brother had to go out of town on business, and I was in Denver. My parents lived in Colorado Springs, so she would have their babysitter take care of the boys. And it started out by her going to my apartment to get me some clothes because all I was wearing was a tank top, flip flops, and swim trunks when I went to the psych ward. And they made me take the drawstring out of my swim trunks. So, you know, didn't want didn't want some slippage. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that, Michael. Um, And
I see. No love for Miserati? What the hell? Dude. Huh.
but
Huh.
yeah, and so she went to my apartment to get clothes for me. And when she came back the next day, she's like, "You are never stepping foot in that apartment again." She's like, "That place was depressing." And it was a nice apartment. I trashed it, but it was in a nice part of Belmar and Lakewood. I was making good money, and and so I moved in with them for a couple months while I was waiting to get into that group home. And so, early in my recovery, man, she was awesome. She's like, "Okay, hey, it's 7. It's time to get out of bed. And I'm not giving you an option.
Yep.
The boys want to know why you're still in bed." And at the time they were 2 and 4, they wanted to play with Uncle Eric.
Love you too, Zerati, you asshole.
Um, but yeah, so she gave me a thing of post-it notes, and she's like, "Okay, what's one self-opinion of yourself?" And I'm like, "That I'm not worthy of anything." And she's like, "Okay, write down you are worthy on that sticky note." And she's like, "What's the first thing you see when you wake up?" I'm like, "Well, I wake up, I go and, you know, relieve myself." She's like, "All right, put that on the mirror in the bathroom. And then so she just got me where I had post-it notes well, I'll say sticky notes because not everybody can afford post-it notes. Get the Great Value brand, whatever. But I left myself positive affirmations, you might say, and some of them were, "You're loved, you're worthy of love, because after beating myself up, and I was a world heavyweight champion,
Oh,
beating myself up.
yeah.
Um, it took a long time, and I still have negative self-talk and stuff. It's not as bad as it was, but I still get it, and I still deal with it, and I'm working on it. Do I feel better about myself now than I did a year ago? Yeah.
Yes. You're,
You
you're
know,
you're always a work in progress. And did you ever do the letter to your former self and set it on fire?
no, but I did similar stuff in CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy. Um,
That was a kick in the nuts for me to be able to sit down and tell myself 10 years ago what I thought of myself. And it's that old Japanese thing about you get all your anger, all your frustration out, you get all your hatred out, seal it in an envelope and set it on fire. That way it's gone.
yeah. Well, I'm going to start wrapping things up because we got the hype starting in a few minutes, and Dave's been one of those guys that's helped me out with my channel and given me some good advice. And, even though this is completely different than the hype, you know,
It's been an enjoyable hour. I mean, I can't believe an hour just went like that,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So before I wrap up, Chris, what do you got going on this week?
Let's see. I know I'm going to have at least 3 videos out. I'm going to start filming beard product reviews again. Hey, Zrati, don't go reading my DVDs behind me, okay? Just our little secret. I'm going to start filming beard product reviews again, and I know I'm going to have some step parent stuff too coming up.
Nice. Nice. And will you be live on Tuesday night yet, or is that still a week or two away?
This Tuesday, I think so. My guest that I was going to have last week, we got some stuff crossed up, and I think he's ready for this Tuesday. If he is, we're going to go live. The guy that I wanted to kick this season off with is still kind of on the shelf, and we're getting all that rescheduled. But I am going to start reaching out to people and rebooking guests and bringing it all back. I'm going to try to do it bigger, better, and better than I did before.
Nice. Nice. Well, for myself, I'm going to be shooting a tutorial on a stir fry with shaved beef, asparagus, and broccoli. So if you don't like green stuff, don't bother. But it's going to be tasty. And I've been bad about it because I've been trying to get some things in order, with nailing down some recipes and some stuff like that and getting stuff for fundraisers and whatnot.
Pull up
So,
Zarate. You want that highlighted in your video. Pull up his last thing. Amen, Zarate. Amen.
yeah, totally agree, Michael. And I'll reach out to you because I've got a bunch of people that have said they'd like to be on, but haven't nailed down a bunch of hard dates. So, yeah, if you're not camera shy, you know, and if you are, I'll get you over that. We can work on that with IG lives and whatnot. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody tuning in. And my video will be posted by Monday. I'll probably have it scheduled for like 5 p.m. EST on Monday.
Nice.
And gonna try to get back into doing that once a week. Wear pants, is if you're gonna stand up and the nether regions is gonna be on camera.
No Barbado Joeing. That's all I'm saying. No
Yeah,
Barbado Joeing. No.
I
There's
would
only one
try to be
diva.
polite. At least have some shorts on. So Anthony Ellis, I greatly appreciate that. Chris is somebody you can reach out to. Anthony is somebody you can reach out to, and I've just recently started to be
Highly recommend him.
um, following Anthony. Just love his stuff. We've been chatting a bit, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him better, and Michael getting to know you better, and Kyle getting together up in Denver or Castle Rock or something and having a coffee. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and if this is your first time, thank you so much. Be greatly appreciated if you hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And you'll be seeing us every other week, different guests, different topics, but all around reducing stigma around recovery.
Yep.
And remember, life's too short to eat bad food.